And a lot of houses were destroyed.
Cheyenne Aria is an Iranian American with cousins and friends in Iran who have detailed by phone their experiences being near recent warfare.
In the middle of our conversations, the bombing started. So she said, "Can you hear the bombs dropping?"
He says he feels mixed emotions after Iran accepted a 2-week ceasefire in the U.S.-led conflict. This ceasefire deal follows President Trump's threats to attack Iranian infrastructure and civilian targets unless the country agreed to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Especially the power plants. I was very concerned about the power plants. Are safe, at least for the time being.
Meanwhile, on the steps of Seattle City Hall, a group rallied against the Trump administration's foreign policy and actions.
Perhaps we should stop bombing the cradle of civilization and calling it freedom. We should be investing in people, in communities.
Counter-protesters showed up, leading to heated confrontations for a short time.
The biggest threat is the nuclear bomb!
Aria says he feels relief for now amid the ceasefire, but there's ongoing concern about Iran's future under its current regime.
It's just a matter of time and at what price.
Oil prices dropping after Iran agrees to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. As we come on the air, a fragile last-minute ceasefire is holding between the U.S. and Iran. Now the real test begins as we monitor traffic through the Strait of Hormuz and what's next during this next 2-week pause on strikes. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It's Wednesday, April 8th, and this morning, this could mark the start of what President Trump has been calling the golden age of the Middle East. The key parts of this deal do include a 2-week pause in fighting, the start of nuclear negotiations, and the return of safe passage for those ships, again, through the Strait of Hormuz. In a post online, Trump wrote, "The United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process." And we want to get right to Mark Boyle at the live desk with the latest for us right now. Mark, good morning to you. This really happened all in the 11th hour, and it's a huge win for the administration. What are you learning about how this deal came together, and what has to happen next for it to hold?
Well, Pakistan really came forward in this, and other regions in the area holding together to make sure the United States didn't move forward with this, and also making sure that Iran would talk about a ceasefire. So that's what we have this morning. In the past 24 hours, Jan, the Trump administration did reach a deal with the Iranian regime. Both sides agreeing to this 2-week ceasefire. We talked about the president posting a message overnight, and this is what it says, in part based on conversations with the prime minister. Says the request here to hold off on the destructive force being sent in tonight to Iran. That's exactly what happened. There's this big pause right now. As part of the deal, the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. That is key. That's the key waterway that's been blocked since the war began. Right here is where that is, and that's really the reason we're seeing a lot of the oil prices change so much across the country. That has sent the cost of oil and gas skyrocketing. Iran and Oman will now be allowing this movement, and that's going to also allow them to charge fees on ships passing through the strait. Up until this point, there have been tolls to get through the waterway. Now, this morning, Israel announcing they, too, will honor the ceasefire deal struck. The new post from the IDF overnight says, in accordance to the ongoing discussions, the ceasefire operation against Iran highly prepared to respond against any violations. So that's key, too. Iran has to follow through here, or Israel will continue to fire back too. Coming up later this week on Friday, the United States and Iran are expected to meet for further negotiations to establish a permanent ceasefire. Will it hold? Those talks will happen in Pakistan. We're expecting to learn more from leaders later this morning. Well, they're holding a press conference at the Pentagon at 8 o'clock. We'll carry that live for you right here on the National News Desk. Jan, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. This morning, President Trump also still warning the entire deal hinges on Iran allowing the safe passage of ships and oil tankers through the strait. And so far, Iran does seem to be complying. On top of the Pentagon support, Iran said its military will also help, again, coordinate that passage.
Number one, open up the straits. If that's accomplished and stuff starts flowing tomorrow, then it's a huge victory for the president. And I would tell you one other thing that I think is very important, people overlook. I've lived in the region for the last 12 years through 4 different administrations, and what I was hearing previous to this event, they did not trust the United States anymore. They did not respect the United States, but more importantly than anything else, they did not fear the United States. So we had lost all deterrence. The president and this administration have corrected that and changed the paradigm diametrically different.
Global markets are already seeing that big swing in the right direction as a result of that agreement. Overnight, oil prices plunged below $100 a barrel for the first time in nearly 2 weeks. The average price per barrel currently sitting around 95 bucks. At the same time, Wall Street expected to see a massive surge with a strong open expected. Futures moving sharply higher right now. Check this out, folks. This is pretty substantial here. The Dow up right now in the futures, 1,177 points. S&P is higher about 178 points. NASDAQ has jumped about 833 points so far. Right now, the world holding its breath after 5 weeks of Operation Epic Fury, a fragile ceasefire now in place between Iran and the U.S. after Tehran agreed to the complete and immediate safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Just moments ago, War Secretary Pete Hegseth did praise that mission. He said that delivered, and he made it clear this White House believes it has changed the calculus and really forced Iran to the table. The real test, of course, is the next 2 weeks as President Trump negotiates this broader peace deal that does include the whole purpose of this mission.
The president has been clear from the beginning there will be no Iranian nuclear weapons. Period. Full stop. Other presidents said it. President Trump did it.
And Mark Boyle joins us from the live desk with the latest. You know, Mark, as he was giving that press conference, Secretary Hegseth laid out all the wins. I mean, it was one after the other. It was literally a whole list of wins and showing the clear results of this operation.
The clear results of the operation, a big win for the United States. We are monitoring the Q&A section of this. The main briefing has wrapped up. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is now answering questions from the reporters there that are listening. Now, in case you're just joining us this morning, here are some of the top headlines that we were following from that briefing. Pete Hegseth saying essentially they have taken out Iran's ability to fight. Their military just decimated. The U.S. has agreed to this deal with Iran, both sides, to a peace deal for at least 2 weeks. That's what we're monitoring to see if it will hold. Also, Iran can no longer build missiles with so many attacks over the past several weeks. We've watched that as this war has raged on. Factories destroyed, and also Iran cannot ever have a nuclear weapon. That is part of this deal, and the president talking about this morning how they no longer can enrich uranium. So a lot of different bullet points that they've gone through. A lot has to happen in order for this peace plan to work.
Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory. By any measure, Epic Fury decimated Iran's military and rendered it combat ineffective for years to come. President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes. But he chose mercy. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure.
Now, we're also tracking some other news out of Iran this morning. According to Iranian state TV there are reports coming in that there's been an attack on an oil refinery on Iran's Lavon Island. This map gives you an idea of where it is. It's a small island off the west coast of Iran right here. Here's the Strait of Hormuz. All the attention on this and getting that shipping channel back open this morning. This is significant because, of course, this comes just hours, less than 24 hours after that 2-week ceasefire was agreed upon. The question this morning remains, who sent those attacks? That's not clear. And we are tracking the president's updates on social media. He posted about the United States working closely with Iran to get through this. They've talked about this productive regime change. So clearly the United States touting their successes this morning. We're tracking it all for you. Breaking news this morning as it happens right here at the live desk.